All right, one, two, three. Um, hey everyone. Hope you guys having a fantastic weekend. We're back. I've been trying to kind of like catch up with what are we missing on the YouTube and on the channel. I try to kind of like keep up the Friday. I mean the end of the week session and upload it for you guys, but I found it useful when we can do it on Sunday as well, or either one of them, either Friday or Sunday. So this week, I'm going to just go for a weekly recap from the last week. I mean, today's 12th, June 12th, and we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about the last week, Monday through Friday at at the market, and in our community, what happened with all the trades and stuff. Before anything, I'm just gonna go over a few things and what exactly happened and how the overall market look like in the future, and if you have any sort of investment plan or trading ideas, just to be cautious and just to know how to really approach and maximize your profit in any way. As always, I mentioned that there's nothing wrong with you know making sure that the spot is there, and then even in the downside market you can make your money out. So as we all seen in the past week, uh, we had the market turnaround, which is usually normal. When you look at it as a really, like, a lot of these companies are the manipulative companies. They try to pump back up, and in order to take their profits and make sure that you as a retail trader are always stuck there, and you think, oh, that's the bottom, and you want to kind of like, oh, start building that position for a long term, or even for swing type of ideas, which is okay if you have that swing ideas. But in my opinion, that has not been settled. We're not going to really see that much of hype. I mean, as I'm talking right now, I'm looking at the chart of a SPY. I'm gonna show you guys the chart. It's still it's pretty down, man. This market is very uncomfortable for a lot of people. For a lot of pension fund, for a lot of retirement fund, they're struggling because financial advisors or big firms, institutional, they don't know how to manage people's money. They don't know what to do. Well, I mean, they do know, but like they don't know how is this thing is gonna end. Because if all the institutions can always come up with a right idea, um, it would be very useful for retail traders. So they at the end of the year, they're only take a look at their own profit, their own commission fees and all that, and they don't really care about if they blew up another fund and another fund, and keep getting people coming, keep letting people come into their door and take their money. And this is the reality. This is the word of it. So they're smart money. They know what exactly how to move their money around, obviously, but uh, there are so many plot twists in it. There's not just uh, it's not all the institutions or hedge funds or all that are doing this. Definitely, there are one or two or more are struggling, and they don't know what they're doing with the people's money, because they have people's money and it's kind of difficult at this time. So without further ado, I'm just gonna quickly go over um, what happened with the CPI. I mean, we had the CPI report last week. Higher than 40 years. As you can see, we broke 8.6%, which can let us think that how high the inflation can goes. Starting from, I mean, from the war that has started, from everything that is going on, of shortages, oil pumping, and when we look at um, these shortages and the consumer pricing and all the indicators, we can definitely um, move our mind mindset mindset towards the recession, the big recession fear, and all the panic that could happen um, in a matter of time. I mean, um, we can see this happen quickly, and we can see this happen in a very long time. So it all depends on how the market react to it, because it's not just the stock market that really make that panic. There are many things that could let average people or a lot of people are damaged, or um, in the long term they can get hurt with this market. So anyway, um, I'm just gonna go over what exactly you should take away from um, overall market and apply it to your investment or your trading. Um, I am more day trader, and I consider myself an economist because I do study that, and I look at the fundamentals in many ways. Even I apply it to my trades. So if you have a one-on-one session with me, I always had students that are talk to them like I told them it's not only technical. It's always good to have some sort of fundamental in your trading. Because if you just just go by a technical, uh, it would be very difficult to adapt yourself with the market condition, or all, what type of setup or play that you are looking to. So without further ado, let's get us started. I'm just gonna go over our session for the last week and all the plays that we had. As you can see, I just pulled up the chart for SPY. Pretty hard for the from Thursday after CPI news report, and as you can see, there's so much um, into it. But I always interested when I look at the chart as a technical, um, the pattern that I'm always avoiding in a long trade, that has been shaped and created on SPY chart daily, which makes me think that this, because from my experience, whenever this pattern happen, I try to avoid that particular stock to play it long, or I anticipated to short it. And when I saw that last, I think it was on Thursday, I believe so. No, on third. This pattern right here was the mini. As you can see, the rejection on the daily. This pattern is always makes me, in my from my experience, I know that this pattern is always failed. but how far it could fail, it's always depends on your support and resistance. So keep that in mind. The support and resistance is the key, nothing else. I mean, obviously, I mean, not, I wouldn't say nothing else. The volume, and is your leading. I mean, main indicator. If there's no volume, the support and resistance doesn't really matter that much, because you're trading in the limbo. If there is no volume and you want to be in the limbo, um, you will struggle to liquidate your position or hit your target, or mentally being able to manage your position, or anything could happen. So yeah, so the support and resistance obviously the key. And as you can see, this the spy is pretty down, and I have many supports on these lines are usually for the 1 minute chart and 5 minute chart on it. So you can kind of ignore it on the daily because I cannot remove them at the time. But it's just have you can just have a clear kind of have a small picture of what it look like on the daily. This is hard. This is hard for a lot of people that are really having a big investment on a very long term on it. So they probably have to manage their position, manage their investment for a short period of time or very long time, and eventually, as we all know, market is always hot in any way. So it's not gonna go away. Whoever tells you, "Oh, stock market is over, it's the end of the era," do not listen to that crap. Just ignore that. Not a lot of knowledgeable people around this industry. People think that they know what they're doing, they know what's going on, and they can create something out of it. But as an experienced trader, 90% of the people that are thinking that they know what they're doing, they actually don't. So keep that in mind. Being that specific percentage, or uh, you know 1%, 10% of successful trader, successful investor in your life, it's very unique and um, remarkable in any way, because you will be the only person who knows how to manage your money and investment in any way and be successful at it. No one else can tell you that unless if you figure it out by yourself. Anyway, enough with that. I'm just gonna go over, as always, going over all the trades that we had. We had a uh, uh, very slow grind week for the past 2 3 weeks. We had this slow grind. Now I always keep it like that because I personally don't like to size in this market too much. I want to always be conservative with the setup. So if you don't see me that are alerting too much or anything like that, it's because I don't like setups too much, and I don't want to be scattered. As I always said in the community, I don't want to toss around, figure, oh, play this, play that, and just distract myself, and eventually not being able to make out of it. That's not the type of discipline I built for myself, and that's not a type of discipline you should have. I mean, that mindset can kills your account, can destroy your trading life, destroy your trading journey that you started. Let's just not do it. Let's just keep it for the equity or for option for anything. Let's just keep it focused in one or two, three ticker, and then maximize that one on any days. That's my comment and that's my recommendation. As always, I am mentioned in the group. Before we start, I want you guys to kind of uh, get some of my recommendation. This is very useful. Mark Douglas. Trading psychology is always it is the main part, um, in my opinion, because you are dealing with psychology most of the time. Then 90%, 80% is psychology. Then just charts and numbers. So this is my recommendation number one. Definitely go watch this. I'm gonna put the link in my channel so you guys can get access to it. Mark Douglas is a legend. Um, Whenever you feel like you're not doing right in trading, or you struggle, you're having some sort of mental mental pain that you don't want to do this anymore, you don't want to trade, this is all you know something that you cannot adapt yourself. uh, it's good to go watch this. It'll help you to kind of like reconsider consider yourself, your type of plan, your thought behind every trade. It's very helpful. Until this time, I'm still watching this. At any time I feel like, oh shoot, I'm not really mentally okay to trade. If I had a bad trade or anything like that, I always go back to core and the beginning part to kind of like refresh my mind and watch this the Mark Douglas talks, and reviewing the whatever he said in his book and in his seminars. So it's a pretty useful, and it's amazing to watch this. I definitely highly recommend this one for you guys as a beginner trader or intermediate or advanced, doesn't matter. This will help you to really have a good mindset and help your psychology behind any trades that you make. All right, let's get started. On Monday we had YMTX. I traded YMTX. Was one of those unique type of setup that I personally thought it could break out and go for more, but we took whatever we could in the pre-market. I always pin out my message. I don't trade between intraday when the market open. I don't trade from 9:30 to like 9:35 or 6. I always recommend that to you guys to do it as well. Do not trade that period of time, because the market is very volatile. It's the direction is unclear. You don't know where exactly you want to kind of jump in. Between like 5 or like 8 minutes, it's good always to observe that setup, or just don't click on any buy or sell order at that time. And from my experience, I had very not few, a lot of problems with brokers, with the brokers, that they always have this problem at that time specifically. They crashed. They cannot fill orders. There's a lot of stuff that could happen, but obviously this was experience that I had on 2020, because there's a lot of liquidity in the market and a lot of money, and brokers cannot really keep up with that. But right now, I never had that experience, but I don't trade that time. Um, so I don't know what could happen. Maybe once or twice I did that in that time. But yeah, that's an idea behind it. But if you have a position before market open, I always recommend take partial profit, take profit before market open, and let the rest ride. Let your target to be in that in that if you have a target, there's specific target. If you have, obviously you have your plan. If you have that, let that to play out. If it doesn't, obviously your plan B, it's in place, and you have to take make sure your stop loss is there. But usually in the morning when it's open, the gap down is pretty drastic, so it can really easily fill your stop order. So you don't want to really be you don't want to really have that um, a hard stop if you don't know what you're doing. I mean, if you do know what you're exactly doing, you don't want to have that hard stop. But if you don't, definitely have that hard stop. There's nothing wrong to take that a small loss, get back in it. That's better than just sitting there and watching the candle dropping. So you don't want to be that type of guy. But yeah, YMTX came out. I think we had a PR. Yes, we had a PR, and then we hit our first target, and that was very quick. I didn't want to really see this thing go down, and unfortunately, this was didn't work out. The VVAP wasn't holding, and I had to put all. I mean, I had to take all the profits that I could out of it. As I mentioned in the group, I really wanted this to break out for more, but as you can see, even the next day, the multi-day runner, the great short bounce, dead cap bounce, and then it was a great short setup, in my opinion. But we anticipated for the long. I was looking at this pre-market for the entire time. Um, yeah, and then the next 2 days we hit it the same area, the 15. Big resistance at 215. There was a bigger short position build up there, and couldn't make it. This stock that just didn't have that you know volume to make this break. And then eventually, just no focus, no. I don't really care about this area. It's just, there's no liquidity, so we take it to the next setup. But that was a quick first PT, very small. We had that 5% gain on it, so that was very nice. And the next day, we had Jan. We had Jan, but it didn't hit our entry. I wasn't. I couldn't hit it when it popped in the afternoon because I wasn't there to trade it. I think it was on Tuesday. Yes, on Tuesday I alerted early in the morning. I wanted to do $4 break, but never happened. Never happened. And then in the afternoon, it popped back and then break above um for $5, almost $5 natural resistance. But sometimes happen. But if you guys catched it, good for you, because I don't want to really sit down in the afternoon and watch this candles moving, and I rather to focus on better setups, which we had Veru that the same day. That was my focus on Veru. We shorted it because it was pre-exhausted, and I wanted to anticipate to the short side of it. Veru was one of those. I mean, Veru is one of those stock that are always pumping, and doesn't, no matter what. But it's always good to have the strategy in place to make sure that you're not gonna get squeezed, and your short play is very safe, or your long play. But with long play, you have some sort of safety, uh, but your gains are very minimal compared to your short trading. But with short, your safety is nothing. Well, technically, um, but yeah, um, that's the idea of the short and long. I can go dive deep into the details if you guys want to. Just DM me. I'll help you out. How to short and make sure that your broker is supported, and all that, and what kind of brokerage is better for shorting, and stuff like that. I can tell you that. But yeah, I was focusing on the 16. My goal was the 1610, and then we had this play, and then I top ticket. The stock was creating this ascending, as you can see, my ascending pattern, and just couldn't fail. Great gap cover, and I was able to really hold that for the area that I kind of anticipated more. But we couldn't really hit the max because the support was building at the VWAP. The support was uh very high and very much. I saw the big volume came in, so I wanted to be safe. I don't want to be um super optimistic when it comes down to this support push. Um, and that exactly happened, and I board the mission. I took all the profit at before the squeeze. It kind of like push back and then go back above our entry price. Overall was holding this area until end of the day. So for me, I wouldn't hold anything because I was expecting this VWAP crack and then we would see more towards 14. But that didn't happen. And anything over VWAP for me consider very kind and very bullish in if it's hold above VWAP the entire day. And then the next day it's better to just keep that in watch and then make sure if that's going to hold that VWAP or not. And the first sign of crack would be the better would be the great short type of setup. As you can see here, the next day VWAP kind of hold from the last day, and then the volume couldn't kicked in, and then just push and the first crack of the VWAP, and then hold below the VWAP. So this is the this is a great short setup on the next day, and the next day, and keep on going until this support builds up into the area that is supposed to be. But for our play, Vero was nice. Was small. I was expecting more, as I mentioned. The next day we had this EFEO. EFEO was kind of like one of those unfortunate that I had to let rest of my share to take it as a loss. But we hit the first PT, and I took majority. But I added in because I was scaling in and out and building the position before it's kind of like making it's kind of create that setup. I was too early in it, uh, which makes me think that, oh, why I am so early in this, because the pattern hasn't created. So that was one of those play that I didn't really like it. And EFOI, one of those unfortunate, it happens, and I haven't had any losses or any, like, even if I had losses, it was very small, but I haven't had any losses for the past 3-4 weeks. So everything is solid. But small gains in here and there, and that's only matter. That's only matter for a consistent trader, and that's only matter for me. 'Cause I want it that way. Well, you can have it more if you want to, kind of like have that back holding ideas. If you want to swing over, but I never recommend swing these garbage companies. You don't want to really get wrecked by these junkies. So EFOI, one of those unfortunate play. I was expecting this to really hit, uh, higher than what I expected. Well, we hit the first PT, and then that was it. The rest was the failure on the trend. So EFOI, and then we had CYRN. I think I canceled that play, but yeah, this wasn't hitting, and it couldn't go, and I was expecting this to go, but unfortunately, it didn't really build that setup. I'm gonna watch this for tomorrow. It's on my watch list. So everything that we traded for the last week, you if you create that watch list, it's good to put them in on the different watch list, and then watching them for the next week. Uh, it's always good to look at. But if there's no liquidity, if there's no volume above at least 2 million, um, doesn't really 2 million traded in a day, doesn't really worth it to kind of like look at it. But there's nothing bad to just hold it on the watch list and make sure you can track down and see where the stocking goes and anticipate it in the future. 'Cause these pumpers are always pumping, and they're not gonna be gone for such a long time, unless if they file for bankruptcy. Um, and AUVI was other play that we had. As you can see, AUVI was very healthy. AUVI that was the only best play that we had for the last week, and I had for the last week. We hit all the target except the max, and it was I was very conservative about this play because it played out late, and I was kind of late into the game. But we hit it, and that was all there. So if you woke up early, for the pre-market, you could have potential of, let me show you guys, 60% just right there, just because being early, and it's good to be early. You want to be an early bird. You don't want to be late in the game. But if you being late from the play, uh, that's okay. I mean, you can still make money, but obviously less, and it depends on your sizing. I don't want to go in through the sizing because I think in my last video I talk about how to size and make sure, in this market it's better to have lower size, or if you are want to kind of like move with the stock in a swing side, it's better to manage your size and make sure your average is in place. So AUVI was last one. On Friday I didn't trade anything. I was looking at COGT was the winner, and unfortunately I could not trade this. I think I traded a little bit in and out, but I couldn't really trade a huge amount on it. Um, and that was one of those unfortunate. I couldn't really give you guys you know full attention on this one because this came out late and took all the actions from other stocks, and I had to leave. On Friday I had to left early. So yeah, COGT. It's gonna be on my watch for tomorrow. Definitely highly interested in stock, and we're gonna watch it. They came out with the news. As you can see, I haven't even really chart this much, but yeah. So this was our weekly session, weekly recap. I try to keep it this way, or if you guys really want me to kind of like give more depth on how to scan all these stocks, uh, leave the comments. Show your feedback in the channel. Flash one. That's the best way. And in the roll react, you can do that. But yeah. Beside all that, keep that in mind. This market condition, you only need one thing to make sure um, how your setup works, and that is your plan, not following other people's. So if you like one stock to trade like this, make sure you know where is your entry, where is your exit, and try that strategy all the time, and keep on doing it. So that's my number one recommendation. I cannot stress enough and tell people have that. Do not really follow any sort of other people's idea. Have your idea. Learn from the best. Get get their thoughts behind any strategy you place, but eventually use your own strategy, and that way, so you can really make sure to become a good trader. And that's it. I think that's for the Sunday session that we have today. Hope you guys like it. Um, but with this market, I just want to add this. I think that overall, we need to know what will happen in the next few weeks. In '08, we had this, big bang investments, bank fight for bankruptcy. As you guys know, Lehman Brothers, one biggest example. I think for recession part, for recession to kind of create that panic and people be more can make people be more concerned, it would be one of those bankruptcy in the market, or in the industry, or anything like that would happen. It makes that panic more drastic and more difficult. So that's my idea behind current condition of economy and the market. So we kind of like to see. I mean, if you see that, just be prepared. Just make sure don't lock your money in one basket, and make sure find a better price for your investment, and even for your trade. That's about it. And I'm just gonna wrap it up here. Once again, it was a pleasure to talk to you guys, and you guys can always reach out to me, message me in the Discord, or DM one of the support. Ask them any question that you have. You can ask me too if you have a technical questions about any specific chart, or if you'd like to have a one-on-one session with me, DM me. I would like to have you and help you out. All right, you guys have a great day, and see you guys tomorrow. Market open.